welcome to another episode of Talking to Myself. I'm your host, Jake Letizia, and this is the podcast where I look into a camera and I talk to myself. How's it going? How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything in your life is going fucking swell. That's right. I just did a rhyme at the top of this podcast just now, so you're gagging right now wherever you're listening to this, in your car, at your fucking computer desk. You're gagging and going, ew, what the fuck? Why would I listen to this rhyming cunt? I don't have an answer to that, but I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's good. I apologize for rhyming like a fucking silly dipshit. Life is all right now. For me, I'm doing okay. Everything's fine. Hope you are doing slightly better than that. Hope you're excited for whatever's ahead of you. I hope all the usual shit I hope at the top of these things. You're getting a promotion, you're getting more money than you've ever had in your life, you're kissing some girl on the face who you love, whatever, dude. Hope you have some good shit coming in your life or that's happening right now. Things are okay with me. I'm recording on a different setup than I usually record on, so I'm a little nervous that I'm going to fuck up the audio entirely and the podcast is going to be garbage. I'm worried about it. I'm worried. New technology worries me. I'm always afraid the first time I use something new, I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to fuck it up beyond recognition where I just screw up the entire thing I'm trying to do. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's pray that right now you're listening to this audio and you're like, damn, dude, it actually sounds better than it usually does. Let's hope that's what's happening and not the opposite, which is you listening to this audio going, damn, dude, it sounds like a garbage mess. Why did he switch up the setup? He should have kept the setup how it was. It sounded fine then. Now it sounds like chalk on a fucking chalkboard scratching the inside of my ears until they bleed. Fuck this thing. Hopefully you're not thinking that. Hopefully you're thinking, damn, good job on the new setup. It sounds silky smooth. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's why my laptop didn't close. I didn't close it because I'm recording on my laptop now. That's right, dude. I played the fucking track for the theme song on my phone. And then which was easier, actually. It was easier. I don't know why I didn't just do that a long time ago. That's how I'm very slow to do things that are easy as shit. There are things that people adopt immediately because they go, oh, that's the easier way. And I'm a person who goes, I'm going to keep doing it the way that I did the first time because that's the way that I know worked. So let me not try to improve it. That's me. And then a year later, I go, wait a second, this podcast needs more lights. Let me get another light. That's how I work. The audio for this podcast sounds okay. Let me wait 2 years in to try and make it sound a little bit better. And then when I try, does it sound a little bit better? Who knows, dude? I don't have a trained enough ear to notice the small minutia of differences in audio quality. I'm doing what I can. But yeah, this is the first time I ever played the theme song on my phone, and guess what? It was much better. You know why? Because I didn't have to reach back and shut a laptop and then start talking. All I had to do was hit pause or close the song on my phone, and I just immediately, my mouth is already on the mic, I'm ready to talk. There's no me walking a foot away to close the laptop and then trying to come back to the microphone in time for it not to be a huge delay between the theme song and me talking. I don't have to worry about any of that. It's a seamless, I'm already sitting, I hit pause on my phone, we're good to go. Anyway, enough technical garbage that who gives a fuck what I'm talking about? Whenever I talk about like, oh, I got a new camera, or I got a new light, or I'm doing a new setup, I'm always like, what? Dude, there's so few people listening. They already... Don't fucking scare the few people away with some stupid tech talk that they don't give a fuck about. But whatever, man. I'm excited about it. I'm excited for this to maybe sound a little bit better. I mean, I've used this Focusrite before when I did guests, but this is my first time using it solo on my voice, so I hope it works out. I don't have a podcast producer, so I kind of got to keep track of things while I just talk. Anyway, my contacts itch. I think my contacts are fucked, maybe. I don't know. I'm not good. I don't know how old these contacts are. I kind of wear my contacts until they're uncomfortable enough where I'm like, it's been a month, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to swap out the contacts every month, but I don't know if I've ever done that once. I think it's always a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. I never know. I go based on if my eyes hurt, I should switch my contacts up. I'm not good with stuff like that. I'm not good with daily routines. I put acne cream on for 3 days in a row, and I haven't put it on since. And I got some more pimples since I stopped using it. So my brain goes, oh, it's the acne cream's fault. Fucking, which is so stupid. That's how my brain works. I'd never used acne cream in my life. Got pimples every once in a while. You know, they pop up in random spots in my face. I tried acne cream for 3 days, and then I stopped doing it, and I got pimples after I stopped doing it, and I blamed the acne cream. Even though the natural existence of me is I get acne every once in a while, it just happens. I blame the cream because the cream was on my... Because why? Because I don't want to do it. That's why. I blame the cream because then I have to buy cream and keep doing it. And it's easier to blame the thing that'll probably prevent it so that I don't have to fucking do a new daily thing. I don't have to keep track of another thing. I should start putting it back on again. It seemed like it was working. And then I stopped and then I got fucking like 2 more pimples on my face, and I was like, hey, dude, that's the fucking greasy bullshit's fault that was spread on my face. It's because I was spreading the other pimples. Now I got a bunch of pimples. I think the same thing with chapstick. Honest to God, I think the same thing with chapstick. I don't use chapstick. I use chapstick when my lips are chapped, but I feel like if you put chapstick on your lips all the time, you're gonna get chapped lips. Which doesn't make sense and is untrue, but that's what I believe. Do you know what I'm saying? There are things that I believe that I know are wrong, but I believe them. And when somebody goes, that's stupid, that's not right, I go, yeah, I agree with you, but also I don't. I agree that you have the right information, but I also know that I will believe what I believe. I partially think the same thing with glasses. So, when I was a kid, I was never aware of the fact that my eyesight was fucked up. But other people were, because I was in remedial reading starting out, and my teachers thought, is this kid not getting it? Can this kid just not fucking read? Is this kid just illiterate? Because we're teaching him and he's not getting it. They were my dad on my first day of work. You're not getting it. I told you guys that, right? My dad owned a butcher shop for 30 years. I worked there one day. And at the end of the day, he goes, you're not getting it. What do you mean? You don't understand how to do everything on your first day. You got it when you're fired. I'm supposed to know how to do everything perfectly my first day? Isn't the first day a time to fuck up? Aren't you allowed to make mistakes on your first day? I've never been here before. I've never done any of the things I'm doing right now. Don't I get to make mistakes today? Nah, you're not getting it. Isn't it going to take me like a month or like a couple weeks, at least like 2 days to get some of the stuff? Nah, you're not getting it. Get out of here. So that's what my teachers were like when I was trying to read as a young boy. You're not getting it. You can't fucking see right. That's probably what they eventually said to my parents. They were like, listen, either your kid is fucking dumb beyond the pale or he can't see. This kid's either a fucking idiot or he cannot see. So take him to the eye doctor. But they took me to the eye doctor. I got glasses. The doctor was like, yeah, this kid can't fucking see. So I got glasses. And then as I've gotten glasses, my eyesight's gotten progressively worse. So in my head, even though this is untrue, part of me really believes that I got glasses. And as I got glasses, the glasses changed my eyesight and made it worse and worse to the point where now I need even more intense glasses. I think that they prescribe you with lenses, and then since your eyes have to adjust to those lenses, the more and more your eyes adjust, the weaker they get, and so you're fucked and you need better glasses, which isn't true. Some people's eyesights become better over time. Some people get one type of lens and their eyes are corrected and they're fine. So what I'm saying is not true. But since I've had the experience of my eyesight getting worse over time, rather, I have no command over the English language. Worser is not a word, I'm pretty sure. But since that's my experience, I partly think the same way about chapstick and acne cream and all those things. I blame the product. Because my cynical mind is like, well, you want me to keep getting glasses, right? So wouldn't you purposely fuck my eyesight up so I got to keep paying for this shit? I'm not good with stuff like that, man. I'm stupid. I think there's going to be a problem. Maybe I got that from my dad, because my dad very much thinks that. He thinks if you go somewhere to get something checked on, they're going to find a problem because that's how they make a profit. My dad thinks that, but then at the same time, he's kind of hypochondriac. Like, he'll go to he's not actually a hypochondriac, but he is. He'll go to the doctor because he's coughing too much. Like, he got COVID. We all got COVID, right? But he really got COVID. Do you know what I'm saying? My dad's a hypochondriac who doesn't go to the doctor. My dad just talks a lot about how he thinks he's sick, and also he always gets sick when something's coming up. And then you call him out. You're like, are you really sick, or are you sick because you don't want to go to church? And he's like, no, I'm sick. Why would you say that? Why would you insinuate that? And then the next day, his cough is way more mild. The day after you accuse him of faking it, he suddenly is not that ill anymore and just goes to the thing that you brought up before. Hey, you want to go to church? Yeah, I'll go there. I love the Lord. Then it's Saturday. He's like, I think I might have COVID for the third time. You didn't even get it a second time, Dad. Yeah, but I think I got it a third time, though. I think the case I have right now is so bad that it's become my second and third time of COVID. You sure you're not faking it because you don't want to be an usher at church? What? How dare you? Sunday morning rolls around. My dad's whistling. I can't whistle, so I don't know why I use that as an example, because I can't act it out. He's humming. Hey, Dad, where'd your cough go? Oh, I took a cough drop last night and I'm fine now. I took 1.5 cough drops and now I feel so much better. I wasn't making it up, though. I'm fine, you know. Oh, man. Oh boy. Anyway, sorry for the momentary pause. I got nervous, dude. Like I said, this is a new setup, so I got nervous and my fucking computer screen went black and I clicked it because I was like, God damn, am I not recording anymore? But I am. I'm recording. It's all good. Everything's fine. I'm just paranoid. But I'm not good with that shit, man. I'm not good with the things you're supposed to do. I'm not good with doctor's checkups. I was dating somebody one time and I realized my last girlfriend, 2 years ago we were dating, and I talked to my mom on the phone, and my mom just casually was like, you haven't been to the dentist in like 3 years. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, I don't think you've been there in like 3 years. And I was like, why don't you mind your own business, huh? No, I was like, it's all good. I was like, hey, Ma, why don't you shut the fuck up, all right? Why don't you let me worry about my teeth and whether or not I want them to rot out of my fucking skull? No, I didn't get Italian on her. I was just like, oh, that's funny. I laughed because I think it's funny. I haven't been to the dentist in 3 years. I think that's pretty hilarious. Why is that hilarious to me? I don't know. You know why? Because I'm an idiot. And whenever I'm an idiot, it makes me laugh. because I'm laughing at myself like, oh, what a dumb fuck. I should go to the dentist more. I shouldn't wait 3 years to find out that half my jaw is missing from a wisdom tooth. I shouldn't do that. I should just go to the dentist, have them be like, yeah, your bone's decaying. Let's rip that thing out. I found out 2 months ago that my wisdom tooth is eating away at the jaw and my bone, and I still have not called to set up an appointment to try and get them out. I haven't done shit. I have the email and phone of the guy, and I have not engaged. And I set up all these other things in my head. I'm like, well, I gotta fucking find a new apartment first. I gotta see if I get this job. I got the job. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let me settle into this job. Let me get a new apartment. Once I get those things, then I'll worry about the tooth. And by that time, my jaw will be missing. So I think it's funny that I forgot 3 years, that I didn't go to the dentist for 3 years. It's funny, and then it's funny because things like this happen where I think I mentioned this to you guys, where I went to the dentist because my tooth was hurting, and then he's like, hey, man, you're going to have a glass jaw soon because the wisdom tooth's eating away at your bone, and I'm like, God damn, dude. That's funny to me. I had a mark on my nose for a year because the nose pad of my glasses fell off, and then I just didn't get it repaired because I thought it would be a whole thing. And then I went to the glasses store, Raymond Opticians, and I was like, hey, I'm missing and she's like, a nose pad? I'll fix it. And then she came back 2 seconds later and was like, here you go. I was like, how much does it cost? She was like, it's free. What? It's a nose pad. Simplest fix of all time. I didn't get it done for like a year and a half and got a fucking mark on my nose that I thought was permanent. Might still be there, who knows. But I think that's funny. But I understand that if someone I'm dating might think that's not funny, might find it unattractive and fucking sad. And she was bummed. She was like 3 years. But it annoyed me because she wasn't bummed in the moment. She was bummed secretly, and then later that night, it became our first argument in the relationship. She just was like, wow, 3 years, that's crazy. And I was like, I know, right? I'm so stupid. Ha, ha, ha. And she's like, yeah, ha. You should have went to the dentist. I was like, yeah, I know. I set up an appointment. I'm going to go now. She's like, ha, ha, yeah, wow, 3 years. I was like, yeah, is something wrong? She's like, no, it's just, that's crazy. Then a couple hours later, we went to a fucking Saki Bar, and somehow we got on the subject of Patton Oswalt. Don't know why. Hey, if you're on a date at a Saki Bar, don't get in a conversation about Patton Oswalt, all right? That's a universal truth. If you get into a argument if you get into a conversation about Patton Oswalt with your girlfriend at a Saki Bar, you will have an argument. You just will, dude. That's an unwritten law of society. That's just how it works, dude. We live in a society, and that's one of the fundamental flaws of it. If you get into an argument, or rather a conversation about the sweet man Patton Oswalt at a Saki Bar, you're going to have your first argument in a relationship. That's just a fact. Anyway, so we were at the Saki Bar, and we were talking about Patton Oswalt, and this was 2 years ago, right? So it was kind of recent to the time that his wife died. I think his wife died like a year prior to 2 years ago. Anyway, so 3 years ago, and we were talking about a year after he had like a new wife and shit. And I was like, she was complaining about it, saying like, oh yeah, he's got a new wife, and he was talking about, she was like listening to something where he was talking about something, and he was saying how his wife is so great because he would be nowhere without her because she keeps track of things he does and like helps him stay on track with certain stupid shit. Anyway, I was like, well, if she's not annoyed by that, I guess that's fine. And then she was like, well, yeah, but like that's what men do. Men just want women to fucking do everything for them. And I was like, what? No, I don't think that's true. Jesus Christ, that was loud. Did you guys hear that? Fuck. Hope that didn't come up on the mic. I just got a notification on my computer that was loud as fuck. But I was like, I don't think that's true. I don't think men want their girlfriend to do everything for them or their wife or whatever. And she's like, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm like that. She's like, you didn't go to a dentist for 3 years until your mom told you. She just pulled that out. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't have gone to the dentist if she hadn't told you. And I was like, first of all, I didn't, yeah, okay, I understand that I didn't go to the dentist for 3 years, and then she was the person to have told me because that's the motherly thing to do, I guess. But it wasn't like I was relying on her to go to the dentist or not. I've been to the dentist since, kind of. She was right. Here's the thing. She was right in the moment. That like, I should keep track of the dentist. I should change my contacts every month. I shouldn't wait 2 months to change my contacts. I shouldn't wait till they hurt my eyes. One day they do permanent damage because I'm too fucking lazy to keep track of a month. She was right. But I was annoyed. That's an annoying. Also, the real thing that annoyed me was she felt that way hours ago, and instead of saying it, she fucking held it in, and then it came out in the middle of Saki. And also I was annoyed because I don't like Saki. We were there because she likes Saki, and now I'm drinking something I don't like, and I'm being given shit, and I'm getting compared to Patton Oswalt, and not in a comedic way, and so this is all a frustrating situation for me. I'm getting lumped in with Patton Oswalt's perceived shortcomings on her part, and also I'm drinking a drink I don't like at all, and this is the second time we've been to this place because she likes it and I like her and I want to make her smile, and now you're throwing shit in my face, bro. And I remember, I up until that point, I kept sipping the sake and doing like one of those, you know when you drink liquor and you're like, you're in your nose and your, hold on, my seat's all screwed up. And your nose and your face can't take it. And you're like, the thing that no one does in movies, no one ever does in movies. Everyone drinks liquor so purely in movies. It pisses me off. Not a single person struggles with the burn of it, which is most people. Also, sometimes even if you're a seasoned liquor drinker, the fucking burn still happens and you go, even if you drink it every night. Maybe not every night, but even if you are used to that shit, it happens. And it bums me the lack of burn from liquor in films. Anyway. But I remember I was doing that all night to the sake. And then once she said that to me, I was so mad that I just downed the sake and had no reaction to it. So I learned in that moment, if you're pissed off, you can maintain your composure from drinking a shot. If you want to keep your composure fucking still as hell when drinking liquor, just get really pissed off and you'll be fine. At least that's how my body works, apparently. Anyway, then I was like, all right, I don't want to have this conversation. And then we left the bar, and then she was like, should I just go home? And I was like, no, we're dating. This is an argument. We got to resolve it. We got to resolve this conversation. And she thought that was weird. I thought that was normal in relationships. But then I found out, like, no, some people just, if they're having an argument, they just leave the situation. And then you like make up the next day. I've never done that. Every time. And I don't know which one's worse. I don't know. Some people are like, you should work out the fight. You shouldn't go to bed mad at the person. But at the same time, it's like, maybe you should. Because if you're arguing for 5 fucking hours, is that worth it? Thankfully, this argument only took like an hour. It took like between that bar and the next bar we went to figure it out. So it was like a half hour. We walked for like a half hour or whatever. And we resolved it, dude. I was like, yeah, you're right. I should be on top of going to the dentist and stuff. But at the same time, I don't expect you to do anything for me. I wasn't expecting her to remind me of that. I just didn't go to the dentist because I wasn't thinking about it because I'm a moron. But I wasn't expecting anyone to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between being a negligent fuckface and being someone who's like, why didn't you tell me about that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I think the difference is. If my mom, when she called me and said that to me and I was like, why didn't you remind me about the dentist? Then it would be like, hey, dude, what are you doing? That's not her job. But I was just like, oh, shit, you're right. I'm fucking dumb. Anyway, and then she told me that it stemmed from a fear she had of, because her mom used to do everything for her dad, so then she has a fear that she'll be in a relationship where she has to do everything for that person. But then it was funny because we ended up breaking up because she felt like I didn't give enough of myself to her. She felt like she didn't know enough about me or like my daily goings on, or like I didn't talk to her enough about just like life in general. So it was like kind of the opposite thing. I was expecting her to like not have any I was not expecting her to have any part of the goings on in my life. And that made her go like, well, what the fuck, dude? I want to have part in the goings on of your life. I just don't want to keep track of what you're doing. I don't want you to expect me to keep track of things in your life, but I kind of want to know what's going on in your life so I can keep track of the things in your life. What, dude? What? How does that make sense? How does that fucking make sense? Anyway, wow, I didn't think about that. That kind of is very strange, isn't it? To get into an argument about Patton wanting his wife to fucking know what's going on with him so that he doesn't fuck up. And then we broke up because she's like, I don't know what's going on with you. Yeah, dude, because I don't want you to yell at me about how I'm Patton Oswalt, dude. I don't want you to fucking call me Patton again, bro. No offense to Patton. I think he's a funny dude, and I like him in King of Queens. But come on, dude. Anyway, that's the end of the first half. I'll see you guys in the second half. What's up? I'm back. So yeah. So we resolved that, and at the time, but not enough to not break up. So. We resolved the issue at the time, but not enough to not break up. And yeah. But yeah, I'm not good at keeping track of shit like that. Yeah, but she was cool. I liked her. I was thinking about the other day, I forget. I think I was talking to friends of mine about like young relationships, like relationships where like middle school, intermediate, like 3rd to 8th grade relationships. Relationships where the extent of it is chatting on AIM and saying I love you, but then never speaking in person. You know what I'm talking about? I think I've talked about this a little bit on the podcast before. I had a girlfriend who, if I saw her in real life, I did not speak to her at all. She didn't speak to me. We acted as though we didn't exist to each other. We'd even look at each other. But somehow on AIM, I asked her out there. She said yes. And then on AIM, every night we said, I love you back and forth. Constantly, I love you, I love you, I love you. Just over and over again. Just two fucking psychotic children who don't know what they're saying, don't know their emotions, don't know anything. They're confused about why they have an attraction to one another. So they go on AIM and go, hey, I love you. Let's date. Sure, I love you too. Then I got a haircut and she was like, I'm done. Then I got a haircut and she was like, we need to break up. And I was like, why? She's like, no reason. We just got to break up. And then I was like, this seems very close to when I got my fucking head shaved, dude. Maybe I should not have a buzz cut because it ruined the relationship that was non-existent in reality anyway. But that's what happened. I got a buzz cut, and then she was like, I don't want to say I love you on AIM anymore. I want to go back to we don't acknowledge each other's presence in reality, and also we don't say I love you on AIM. We have no communication on AIM. Let's go back to not chatting online. But I was talking with them about that, and it was making me think of like, there were relationships where I don't know. There's one girl in particular that I dated in 6th grade, and I dated her. I didn't pursue her at all. She 100% pursued me. Story of my fucking life. I mostly don't pursue. I pursue after someone shows interest. That's what I do. Someone has to come to me, show interest, and then if I'm like, oh, I pursue the person. But I think what happened was, in the very Victorian style that exists for dating when you're in middle school and when you're young enough where the relationship isn't real, there's that weird Victorian thing of like, oh, I want to tell you that Vicky likes you. You know what I'm saying? Tori likes you. Sarah likes you. Do you like her? It's like a weird middleman situation where that person informs you that that person likes you, and then you reciprocate it to that messenger. There's this weird messenger of love in fucking middle school. Anyway, I was told that she liked me, and then I was like, oh, I guess I like her too, because I did. So then I was like, let's date. And then we didn't. And you know what it was? It was the first relationship where I could tell after the fact, not at the time, that this person, like, guys and girls were hanging out more. It wasn't 3rd grade or whatever it was when I fucking chatted on AIM. It was like guys and girls were hanging out more. They were talking to each other more. People were starting to kiss and do other things, and like, it was on the younger side, 6th grade, but people were starting to be like, oh, if you date somebody, you hang out with them and you do things with them. And I still was stuck in that AIM mentality. But looking back, it's very apparent to me of like, oh, she wanted to do she wanted more, like, to me to actually be a boyfriend, and I was still like, I love you on AIM. I remember there was like an assembly and I sat behind her, and she turned around and like waved to me and I waved back. And that was the extent of our communication. I didn't say a single word to her back. She didn't say anything to me. She like turned around and was like, hey. I was like, hey. And then that was it. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, and that was the communication that we had. I didn't get it. I didn't understand that you're supposed to talk or say things, because it was all because you didn't have that extra layer of like, oh, you got to know a person. You didn't like, you're not developed enough as a human being for anyone to think that's worthwhile. Do you know what I'm saying? No, like none of us are developed enough as people for that to be even a thought in your head of like, well, let me get to know the person. Maybe we can fall in love. You don't know what love is. You don't know any of that shit. So and then I remember I got her a bracelet. We dated for like 3 months or something, 6 months. I have no idea. But I got her a bracelet because it was her birthday or something, or Valentine's Day or some shit like that. And I remember I gave her a bracelet that was like a heart. With our initials in it or something like that, or her initials. And she was like, oh, thank you. And then we hugged, and that was it. And she walked away. It was like at the end of a school day. I was like, here you go. This is for Valentine's Day. And she was like, oh, thank you. And she hugged me. And then I was like, yeah. And then I walked my way and she walked her way. And I remember in that moment, I could be making this up in my head, but I felt like oh, I think she wanted me to talk more. I think she wanted me to like, give her some like a card and speak to her instead of like not talking to her at all and then buying her a bracelet with her initials on it. I think she wanted more of a human interaction than a Tony Soprano fucking jewelry solicitation. I don't think she wanted that. But I remember shortly after I got her that bracelet, we broke up, and she never wore the bracelet. I mean, she never wore the bracelet before we did, and then after she didn't. And then years later, when I dated my first ever girlfriend, I got her the same exact kind of a thing. And at that time, I was a developed human being. I mean, I still, it's up for debate whether or not I had a personality that was worthwhile. I don't think I did. But we were dating, and we were aware enough to be like, I like you as a person. I like you as a person. I also think you're very cute. And we, we're aware of the fact of like, hey, we don't just talk on AIM. We hang out. We talk. We fuck. We kiss. We do all the things. So it was like a real relationship. And I guess, I don't know. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how real something can be in the moment. And then you look back and you're like, I was so young. Was any of that legit? Was any of that worth anything? It was. But part of you is like, I don't know. Were the feelings I even felt, was I smart enough to understand them? Like, did I have enough knowledge to even know what the fuck I would, like, if the feelings I felt were real, if they were actually as intense as they were, or was I just an immature person? Anyway, that's a story for another time, and probably one I already fucking talked about or told. But I got her a bracelet that was the same exact thing, heart-shaped, her initials in it, or mine and hers, whatever the fuck. And she was like, oh, thank you. And then I noticed she never wore it. And I was like, how come you don't wear that? She goes, I don't like that. She goes, I don't like heart-shaped jewelry. Like, why didn't you buy me, like, look at my jewelry. And I was looking at her jewelry, and I was all like, it's all like very hippy-dippy, just like weird designs and stuff, like stuff you'd get at a fucking thrift shop or an Urban Outfitters, but you would pretend like it was at a thrift shop. You know what I'm saying? Something that you would buy at Urban Outfitters and then say like, oh, I got it from some like trendy, like personal shop. Like it was like a woman's small business. And you're like, that looks like it's an Urban Outfitters. And you're like, no, I got it from something cooler and more specific. And then I looked at her jewelry. I was like, oh, yeah, dude, why would I get you heart-shaped jewelry? And thank God she told me that, because I never got her anything like that. And every girlfriend after that, she really fucking saved me. She doesn't even understand how much she saved me. Excuse me. She shaved me. She didn't shave me. She did request that I shaved, which was fucked up, dude. She taught me two things. She taught me never shave for a human being, and also get them presents they like. When I was dating her, she would always be like, you have a stubble. And I would have to shave so that we could kiss or whatever. What a bummer, dude. What a fucking bummer of an experience. Never again, dude. It's probably why I have facial hairs, because I'm like, dude, never again will I let someone tell me to fucking shave. It was fine though. I mean, if I dated her later, it probably would have been different. I didn't grow enough hair for it not to hurt someone's face. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow enough hair for it to develop into something, and so I would keep it stubble, but the stubble hurt her, so I understand. So it's all good. I'm more joking than anything else. I'm more just kidding. It's fine that she was like, hey, can you shave, you fuck? But she told me, she's like, yeah, why? Don't get me a heart-shaped jewelry. I was like, well, what should I get you? She goes, well, just get me something I would like. And she wasn't saying it like, I want you to know the thing I like. She was saying it in a very genuine way of like, we're dating, don't we? Like, you know a lot about me. We spend a lot of time together. Like, just get me something I would like. And I was like, what is she like in my head? And I was like, Alice in Wonderland. So after that, I got her all Alice in Wonderland shit all the time. And every time she was happy, and it was a good time. So yeah. And then in the future, like, yeah. Ever since then, I've been good with, or at least I hope the people aren't lying to me. But I think I have a good track record with the people who I date. Will tell me the truth eventually. Even if they're holding in the Patton Oswalt thing for a couple hours, eventually that came out. But I don't know. I hope I'm not saying that in a way of like I'm, saying that was the wrong. I mean, I think it was the wrong thing to do, but I make mistakes too. I definitely fucking I have more of a problem with just saying things that I shouldn't say, like things getting into an argument about something where I'm like, why did I even get into an argument about that? That was pointless. But anyway, what was it talking about? Oh yeah. Yeah, so her advice on that, just get me something I like, has made me better at giving gifts for people. Now I just get them things that they would like. And it usually goes very well. The person's like, wow, you got me something I liked. Not something that you liked. People get gifts for other people on the assumption, or gifts operate in a weird way for certain people where they're like, I'm going to get you something that I would want. And because it's something I would want, of course it's something that you would want too, right? Because we're all universal in our interests. No, dude. I've never understood that. I've never understood getting a gift that you want for somebody else. Because not only are you getting them a gift that they might not want, but you're just, then you're just watching them use the thing that you wanted yourself, that you might have gone without because you're like, oh, I'll get it for them because it's their birthday. But then you're just watching them with a gift that they don't want, being like, fuck, I should have gotten it for myself. And at that point, you should tell them, you should say, do you not like it? And if they go, yeah, I'd be like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just keep it then. Maybe that's a scam that some people do. It wouldn't be a bad scam. If you got people gifts that you wanted that you knew they weren't going to like, so you bought it for them banking on the idea that they would like be like, hey, you know what? I actually don't like it. And they would feel bad and give it back. And you'd be like, oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. And that person feels really bad. Like, oh, they got me a gift that they thought I would want. But secretly that person's like, nah, I got you a gift that you wouldn't like that I want really bad as an excuse to buy it for myself. And I'm glad you're giving it back to me, but I won't tell you that. Fuck yeah, dude. New PS5 for me, baby. I don't know, man. I had a conversation with my dad at Easter. I guess this is on the subject of what we talked about last time, or what I was talking about last time. With progress and people not being accepting and then being accepting. My dad so we were talking about religion, and my brother was talking about pastors, and he was like, oh yeah, there are a lot of gay pastors now. Pastors can be gay. And my mom was like, yeah. Because over the years, religion has been very unaccepting of certain kinds of people, gay people in particular. Still, people who are Christian, some people who are Christian believe that being gay is a sin, but a lot of Christians are very accepting of a lot of Christians have removed that in the more lenient, cool, chiller aspects of Christianity, in the disciplines that you can go into a church and raise your hand and go, yeah, I like the music. That's all I like. I'm not sure about God. In the Lutheran religion, you can be gay and be a pastor, which is chill as fuck. I'm all for it. I like that. I think Christianity should open up and remove some of its old, dumb fucking ideas and be like, yeah, dude, homosexuality is not a sin. This book was just written in a time where people were cunts. That's how it should be. Anyway, so they were talking about that. And also, first of all, pastors are better than priests. Like, in general, pastors are allowed to get married. They're allowed to fuck. They're allowed to have kids. That's good. That's normal. Good. Dedicating your life to God is psychotic and stupid, okay? You can, love God and be very devout to God and Christianity and all that. There's no reason why a person who talks about him in a church has to never fuck somebody. There's no reason for that. Anyway, but my dad's like, well, priests can't be gay. And then we're like, nah. And he was saying it as a weird, I don't know if he was saying it as priests can't be, so I don't know, it's still an argument in Christianity. I don't know what he was getting at. But then he was also like, I was like, yeah, but I mean, and then I said pastors should get married. That's pastors should be able to be gay. They should be able to get married. That's what should happen. Because why not? Nobody should not be able to get married. That's so strange. Everyone has a desire to be with people. They should be allowed to. And my dad was like, well, they're devoted to God. They're supposed to be devoted to God. That's why they don't get married. They're devoted to God. And I was like, yeah, well, they also, they also move around priests or what's it called? I go, fuck, I'm fucking this up. God damn it. I'm fucking this up. He's like, priests aren't allowed to be gay. And also priests are supposed to be devoted to God. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. And I was like, who cares what they think you're supposed to do? They also think that you should move around priests who molest kids instead of turning them into the police. And then my dad looks at me and goes, you make a good point. Which was really cool because it was like, wow, dude, that's progress. That's progress. Years ago, I saw Spotlight and me and my mom were taught, because at the end of Spotlight, they just do this credit roll of all these different churches that have had priests who have molested kids, and like all these different churches in different parts of the world that have harbored these fucking priest pedophiles. And my dad goes, well, all priests aren't like that. And he got really angry. And we were like, we're not saying all priests are like that, but we're saying that there's clearly a problem in the Catholic Church with pedophiles. Then years after that, there was that other news story where 300 priests got found or whatever. There were 300, I forget what it was, 300 victims of sexual assault found. There was another giant case of pedophilia in the Catholic Church. And I was angry about it. And my dad said, well, what do you think they should do? You think they should just end the Catholic Church? I go, absolutely. I go, if you have that much of a problem with kids being abused, you should shut it down. I go, if there's a business where, if there was a business where people kept getting abused there, you got to shut down the business. Eventually shut it down. I go, it's not the only lane of Christianity. There are other lanes of Christianity that you can follow. You can be a Lutheran. It's just one section of Christianity. It's one denomination of it. You can get rid of it. If they got that bad of a problem with fucking kids, get rid of it. And he was like, yeah, maybe. And then this was fucking, the circle is complete. My dad looked at me after I brought up priests molesting kids, and he just looked at me and said, you make a good point. There we go, dude. That's progress. That's fucking real, tangible progress. My dad finally being like, yeah, you know what? The Catholic Church is kind of fucked up. Which is good. That's good that can happen. And it's proof that, listen, if you have a reasonable, I don't know, my dad is unreasonable in certain respects, but I don't know. It was cool to have that tangible progress. I think for me, I know my parents are reachable. Like I know that they listen, and whether or not they agree with me, they listen, and the thing that I said, they'll think about. And I think if you have a parent like that, here's proof right here that if you say something to them, they'll think about it, and maybe years later, they'll be like, you know what? You make a good point. They'll go from being angry and vicious that you mentioned a Catholic priest fucked a kid to you making that as a point at Easter dinner, and then they give you the fucking respect of going, that's a good point. Damn, dude, that's fucking sick. That's so dope. But yeah, that was a cool little thing. But also my dad did recently say that Mexican food is all tastes like parts of a burrito. So, you know. I don't know. Was that a bad thing? It's funny. We live in very unsure times, or times where people are very sensitive to things, or like you're not trying to say anything fucked up. But that was a weird, like, on the line thing where I was like, I don't think that's that. Is that a racist thing to say? I don't. You ever have that? Someone says something and you're like, is that? I don't know. He's not saying it hatefully. I guess that's just his opinion on the food. That's cool. That's fine. Sometimes people are so worried that, like, they don't, if you say, what's your favorite kind of food? They, like, don't want to say Mexican food because they think it's somehow racist to say Mexican food. It's not, dude. It's a kind of food. I think that just comes from growing up in Westchester, where saying someone was Mexican was an insult. I've talked about this before, right? That the way people use white now as an insult makes perfect sense to me. Because when I grew up, Mexican and black and anything that wasn't white was used as an insult towards somebody. So it makes sense that, that would then happen to white people as well. What goes around comes around in a way, None of it is good. You shouldn't do it for anybody. You shouldn't use someone's race as an insult towards them. But growing up where people said Mexican as an insult, where people were just like, yo, you're fucking Mexican, and that was supposed to be an insult, I understand why now in my older age people go, yo, you fucking white piece of shit. I understand. I get it. None of it is good and all of it is bad. Bigotry, all of it is bigoted, bad shit. But you get it. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Oh, yes. So my dad, so he said that about burritos. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I love Mexican food. Because also, he's just, I don't know. If it's not Italian food, it's less about Mexican food specifically and just about Italian food in general. If it's not Italian food, it like legitimately is not real food in my dad's brain. My brother was talking about getting Mexican food for his wedding. And he was like, what do you mean? You can't get Mexican. You got to get Italian food. You got to get like real food. But if you said anything to him, if you're like, what about Chinese food, German food? He'd be like, nah, you got to get fucking Italian. You got to get pasta dishes in there. It's not real unless you can get a fucking veal sfidel. A fucking veal stromboli gnocchi, bada ving, bada boom, bing, ding. It's not real food unless you can get a meatball parmesan sprinkled with a little bit of sugar. But I said to my dad, because he said the thing about Mexican food just tastes like different parts of a burrito, which also isn't wrong because a burrito has a lot of things. If you're eating rice and beans, yeah, that is a part of a burrito, but shut up, dude. No, but I said to my dad, I go, yeah, I mean, that's fine for you to think that. I mean, some people think that Italian food is just like pasta. And he went, what? I go, some people think that Italian food is just different kinds of pasta. Like it's all just like a different kind of pasta, but it's all pasta. And he's like, who would think that? Only idiots would think that. Only people who didn't know what they were talking about would think that. And I go, why is that? He couldn't fathom it. He's like, no one thinks like that. Nobody thinks like that. And I was like, what do you mean? I know I have friends who think like that, who are just like, yeah, well, like spaghetti and meatballs, that's Italian food, right? If I told them about a sfidel, they'd be like, what is that? Oh, it's an Italian dessert. Oh, I just thought it was like, is that another type of pasta? Is that a dessert pasta? I have friends who would say that not as a joke. But for some reason, that doesn't compute in my dad's brain. My dad feels the same way about a different type of cuisine, but he can't fathom people thinking that exact thought he thinks about Mexican food for Italian food. Does that make sense? No, but most of being Italian doesn't. It was funny. My friend, he had like a viral tweet where he was showing, he's like, do Italian people get the vaccine like this? And it was like a regular hand holding a syringe. And then it said, or like this. And it was the pinch thing with the syringe through it. And he got fucking 300,000 likes on it. And it was like very viral. And then I retweeted it and was and said something along the lines of like, the Italians don't get the vaccine. When I asked my dad about if you're gonna get a vaccine or not, he was like, for what? And then I was like, for COVID. He goes, I'll give you COVID right across your head. Which didn't happen, but it's something that you could see him or another Italian person saying. And then I was looking at the quote tweets, and it was so funny that like all of the quote tweets were Italian people going, Italians don't take the vaccine. Which I thought was so fucking funny that like all Italian people instinctively were like, I'm going to retweet this and quote tweet it and say the same exact thing. Because we all know, we all have the same experience of other Italian people we know, either in our family or cousins or whatever, who are definitely like, yo, bro, what are you talking about? Which I'm not, if you get the vaccine, great. If you don't get it because you are unsure because it came out so fast, like it's your decision to get the vaccine or not. That's how I feel about it. But for sure, it's funny that like Italian people. The joke also is that like Italian people most of them don't have a reason. It's just like, yeah, why would I do that? When am I going to put a fucking needle in my arm? Why, dude? Fuck that. For COVID. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the timer just went off. I'm going to do one more quick little part. I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, I'm back. How is it going? I feel like I just said back very formally. Hello, I'm back. Hello, and we are back. I don't know what the fuck that just was. Anyway, what's up, dude? I'm back. Hey. Don't know why I'm saying back in weird, seductive, formal voices. Don't know why I'm saying it. And then I don't know why I'm repeating it 9 times after that. Anyway, what's up? I'm back. So I just wanted to, for this last part, if I may, yell about Twitter some more. It's becoming a running theme, a running subject of conversation, and just a thing that I do on this podcast where I fucking yell about Twitter and things that annoy me about it. And also, to a certain degree, I'm not even mad at Twitter. I'm mad at people's participation in it while being angry about it. I'm irritated at people's irritation while still participating. Anyway, because it's all things that I don't know until someone tells me, and then I'm like, why is that a thing? Why was that a thing? And then I look into it, and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? Why is this enough of a thing where you're talking about it and other people are talking about it? None of what is being brought up right now matters. So why is it a subject of conversation that's spanning the country? Do you know what I'm saying? Via the internet. Anyway, what happened was on Twitter recently, I feel stupid even talking about it, but someone apparently, this is what was told to me, someone said Alien is not a horror film. They tweeted that. Alien is not a horror film. Okay, now when I looked into it, the person saying this, I couldn't find the tweet of her saying that. I saw a poll that she posted that was like, settle a debate for me. Is Alien a horror film? Which, either one, whatever, dude, you're allowed to do. It's all good. And then you look at the poll and it was like 97% or 98% it's a horror film, and then 2% or 3% it's not a horror film. Which makes sense, because it's a horror film. But what annoyed me was I started looking at tweets and stuff, and people are like mad at this woman and angry and yelling, and like it's ruining their day that she could insinuate that Alien is not a horror film. And then people will talk to you about it like, aren't you annoyed at this woman? And you're like, no, I'm annoyed at you. Because if somebody, let's say she did say Alien, or let's say anyone said Alien is not a horror film, my reaction to that is, yeah, it is. It's not even that. My reaction to someone saying that is, oh, okay. I don't need it. I'm good. I'm good. Alien is not a horror film. Yeah, I don't need to talk to you about that, because that's wrong. That's a wrong thing to say, and it's weird. And also, I'm all for someone having like a weird alternative take if you then have a reason for it. If you just say some stupid shit, if you just say bananas or apples, and you don't have like a weird like, and here's why, because a banana technically, if you think about it, is an apple, because and you have some weird reasoning and it's kind of a funny reasoning, I'll go, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. It's kind of a bit cool. But if you just straight up go, hey man, oranges or limes, I'm going to go, you shut up. I'm going to go, nah, nope. And if you are next to me and you go, no, it isn't, and the reason why a banana is not an apple, I'm gonna argue with you about it. You're the asshole. You're the fucking dickhead. Right? Alien is not a horror film. That's like saying Lion King is not a cartoon. Lion King is not a cartoon. It's not, dude. What do you mean? What is it then? It's just drawings that move, bro. It's not a cartoon. It's not an animated film. It's just drawings that move, dude. It's its own separate genre. It's not a fucking cartoon, okay? Fairly Odd Parents is a cartoon, but Lion King is produced by Disney and put in a theater, so it's not a cartoon. It's a drawing movie. Hey, dude, fuck you. And fuck you even more if you're like, did you hear that she said that? I'm going to yell at her now. If you're at a party and someone says Lion King is not a cartoon, I go, what? And laugh. And then if you just go, it's not, you go, okay, man. And then you grab another beer. That's what you do. That's it. That's the extent of it. Fuck, dude, that was loud as hell. I hope did you guys just hear that? I got a text and it bringed through the house. Anyway. What the fuck was I talking about? That text threw me off, dude. People always text me during the goddamn pod. No, what I am saying is, don't engage with that. Don't engage with that. Twitter is a place for you to be a cunt. That's what it is. At this point, you go on Twitter and go, how can I be a cunt today? How can I be a fucking douchebag today? How can I be an unrelenting asshole today? Oh, I know. Alien is not a horror film. Twitter is just people making statements that come off like they're objective, but they're subjective. What you do on Twitter is you go, this is the ultimate way to be an asshole, cunt, jerkhead. I'm going to write a very subjective thing as if it's fact, and everyone's going to get pissed, and I'm somehow going to get 15,000 more followers. That's how it works, okay? If you're on Twitter, you're a cunt. And I say that as a person on Twitter. I'm a cunt. I'm one of the cunts. I'm one of the assholes. I'm one of the douches. We're all fucking assholes on Twitter. So if someone says some irritating shit, they're an asshole. And if you participate back, you're an asshole as well. And I'm being hyperbolic. I'm sure there are spots of Twitter that are not asshole-ish, that people are nice, people have genuine conversations. Hey, if you had a genuine conversation on Twitter, that's great. If you got a job at a Twitter, that's great. If you are putting love into the world through Twitter, that's awesome. But it seems to me like that would only be 2% of it. It seems to me like 98% of Twitter is people going, Quentin Tarantino is actually a polar bear. Quentin Tarantino is actually a mongoose who directs horror films, okay? Every one of Quentin Tarantino's films is a horror movie. And you go, what's the reasoning behind that? There is none. I'm just saying it as a statement. You have the argument now. Hey, no thanks. So yeah, I guess I brought that up because I just wanted to say, because I talk to people who I love dearly, and they get worked up about this stuff. And so if you're a person who sees somebody tweet, Alien is not a horror film, and you get worked up to the point where you tweet back to them, next time it happens, next time you see a weird fucking tweet like that, instead of getting angry, just go, oh, this person is an idiot. And step away from the computer and have a sandwich. That's what you should do. This person's either an idiot or they're intentionally trying to rile me up. I'm just going to go eat a cheese doodle. That's what you should do. Take a breath, take a step away, and realize, oh, some people just suck, and I don't need to have a conversation with them. Anyway, and as one of those people who probably sucks, and that's the thing too, is we all suck to somebody, okay? I suck to somebody. I suck beyond comprehension to somebody. I say things, and that's something that I would like to, if you ever hear me say something like that, something remotely like that, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's objective at all. Nothing I say is objective. Besides that Alien is a horror film. I mean, that's objective. But that's not something I say. That's something fucking Ridley Scott will tell you. But do you know what I'm saying? And also, like, I don't know. Here's the thing, too, is how did she say it? Because friends of mine, I'll have a conversation with them, and they might say something like that, like, Alien is not a horror film. And you're like, well, what do you mean? And you have a conversation, and it's a fun time. So people also just assume, like, also I'm assuming people are saying things on Twitter to be cunty or an asshole or whatever the fuck. But she might have just said that as a genuine, like, let's start a fun conversation. Maybe this will be funny and we'll have a good time. But instead people get viscerally angry. Maybe she was goofing, dude. I think Vertigo is a shitty movie. I hate the movie Vertigo. I think it's bad, and I'll tell you why it's bad or why I think it's bad. I'll have a conversation with you on my opinion on Vertigo and how I don't like it. But I understand that most people will say, hey, you're fucking stupid for thinking that, and that's fine. And I understand there are merits to that movie, but I don't like that movie, and I'll have a fun conversation with you about it. But also, if I went and tweeted out Vertigo's a bad movie, I understand that a lot of people are going to be like, hey, that guy's a cunt. I understand that going in. So I guess the real thing I'm trying to say is, why do we use Twitter? I don't get it. Let's not use it. I fucking hate this site. I don't even know why, but that's the thing. There's a pull to it. I have a Twitter. Don't know why. Never use it, but I have one. Anyway. I guess what I'm saying is Alien is a good movie, and it's a horror movie, and it's a quite scary one. It's a good time. But I will say that Lion King is not a cartoon, and apples are oranges. So those are just facts. Anyway, this was a fun podcast, as always. Hope it sounds good. Hope this new setup sounds better than the old one. Or at the same, or whatever. Hope you're enjoying the podcast right now. Hope you had a good time as I did. And I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. J-A